Welcome to the next video. Now that we had a chance to look at the SmallHD Indie 7 monitor, I wanted to quickly take a deep dive into how I personally set up my monitor for professional use. We won't go through the initial setup because I believe in all of you enough to go ahead and do this on your own, but let's hop into some of the more important things. So the first thing is power. So I generally use these Sony MPF batteries, and the reason why is because they give you really good battery life on this monitor and they're easy to travel with. And on top of that, you can hot swap them. So if one dies, you can just replace with the other one. And you don't have to worry about the monitor dying on you. Using these kind of batteries are really good as well because it helps to keep the weight down. On a long production day and you have this on top of your camera, if you have a big heavy battery on it the entire time, it can definitely start becoming somewhat of a nuisance. So I have about 6 or 8 of these batteries and they can definitely power this monitor for the entire day if need be. The only thing about these batteries that I would say is that you should also make sure that you have a charger because they take forever to charge back up. I'm going to definitely go ahead and leave a link in the description where you can get these exact battery options off of Amazon. I also have this DC to D-tap power option. So basically what this allows me to do is plug in through DC on the monitor and connect it to something like one of my V-mount batteries that's on the back of the camera and allow the battery to power the monitor. Now, this is also a great option because, again, this is great because it helps to keep the weight down because I don't have to worry about having 2 of these plugged in the entire time. And one of these batteries lasts almost 3 times as long as 2 of these batteries. So you just get a longer day of usage out of something like this. And they make it really simple because all you really have to do is take the DC cable and literally plug it into the DC input on the monitor. So it literally just goes right in. Plug in, and the one that I have actually screws in so that it doesn't accidentally come out. And then, you're pretty much good to go. So let's talk about SD cards. So the SD cards on this monitor do a few different things for you. The first thing, it allows you to save LUTs. So if you have a specific look, or maybe you have a director or a producer that wants you to have a certain look that goes into your monitor, you can save it onto one of these and then upload it into the monitor itself, which is fantastic. Another great use for these is that it gives you the ability to capture screenshots. So let's say, for example, I'm filming something, it looks really cool. So I can actually take a screenshot on this monitor and save it to the SD card and use it for something like a thumbnail or I don't know, anything that you would want to use a thumbnail for. And finally, this is how you update the monitor itself. So you would download the software, put it on this memory card, and then you take it and put it into the monitor. So I'll show you guys how you do that real quick. It's got a little flap here. You just open it up. You see the little SD card insert. You just take it, make sure it's flipped the right way. And there you go. I love that option because it makes it so simple for you to get a certain look into the monitor or save your screenshots like we said before. And then when you're done, you basically just take it out of the monitor. Let's say you have all those screenshots saved onto the SD card. You take it out of the monitor, plug it into your computer, and you're ready to go again. I love it. If you've never heard of a LUT before, a LUT stands for a lookup table, and it basically gives you the ability to add a look to your footage. So let me show you guys really quickly how you actually take a screenshot. So you can go into one of your pages here and you would add a new screen. And if you go down to your look, you'll see something that says image capture. Add that to your page. When you actually press this little button, it'll capture your screen. Now, I currently don't have any more space left on this card. That's why it's saying that. But if you put a card that has space, it'll save it onto your SD for you. So the first thing I like to do is set up a few screens that I can swipe through. This is where I set up a few tools that I like and I find useful on a day-to-day usage. Now, personally, I feel like it's better to make more screens with specific tools than just adding a bunch of tools to one page because it's just faster to access them by swiping. So let me show you guys how you actually do that. Yeah, so when you turn on the device, this is your starting page. And what you could do from here is you can actually pinch down and then you can go to these little quick setting pages that you can go look at all these different stuff. And if you want to add a brand new page, you just click on new blank page. And then what you'll have is something that looks like this. When you tap on the screen, this is where you can start adding your tools. So for this page, what I want to do is actually add, let's call it an exposure option. So what you could do is go to your exposure settings here. And then let's say I want to get some exposure assistance. I can add that in. And right away, I have access to the exposure assist option. What I'm actually going to do is connect the monitor to a camera so we can actually look at this together. So yeah, let's turn back on the exposure assist. Now you can see how the camera is interpreting the frame that we have set up here. We want to add another tool. It's as easy as clicking on the screen, going back to the plus button. And now let's say we want to add, I don't know, some cross hatches. So we go ahead and add that. I'm going to turn off the assist real quick. And right now they are black. So there are cross hatches here, but because they're black, you can't really see them. What you can actually go ahead and do is click on the crosshatch, and then you can change the color. So right now we have it to set to black. So let's change it to something really easy to see here, which is yellow. You can also change the opacity, the style if you want to have something different. So right now we have it at rectangle. We could change the amount of regions. Everything can be adjusted here. Should give you guys an idea here. If you want to have more than the 3, which I don't know why, but if you do, you can actually make the switch there by sliding on this thing here. If you like the bars to be a little bit thicker, you just go here and you increase the size of it here as well. And then you could just customize it however you would like to use it. I'll show you guys one more tool that I like to use. So again, let's pinch it down here. Let's add a new page. Add a new blank page. We'll tap on it here. We're going to add a new tool. And I like to add on focus assist. So when you add that on there, you now see how all these little red stuff show up on the screen here. That's basically showing me where my focus on the lens is set at. So when I start changing that on the actual lens itself, you see that those lines go away. And then when I zoom back in, and then when I reapply my focus here, you see they all come back. And now what's really cool about the SmallHD monitor, again, if I tap on it here and I click over here for my focus assist, again, I can change that color to something else. Maybe I like it green. Cool. If it's too sensitive for me, I can turn that down, or I could turn it up, whatever kind of works best for you. I'm going to go down a little bit because I think it's a little ridiculous at 5. You could change it to black and white so that you only see what's in focus. I also really love this option. And then, of course, you could change the brightness if you need to, and the contrast. And you guys pretty much see what you could do with this. Now, let's say, for example, you created a screen and now you don't want the screen anymore. So if we go pinch down and we click on this custom page on this little arrow here, we can actually delete this page if we want to. And then that other one that I created, we can also delete that as well. But yeah, I'll show you guys really quickly. On any one of my screens, I could just tap in and I could just turn on different things or turn off different things that I don't want to use. So in this case, I have the cross hatches. I'll turn that off. If I'd like to see a histogram, you guys can see the histogram down here. Turn that off if I don't need it. If I want to take a screenshot, turn that on. Really entirely up to you how you want to set up your pages. Just really normal tools that you can use in everyday filmmaking, all packed into this monitor, and this is why it's my monitor of choice. The options with this monitor are honestly infinite. If you can think of it, you can probably do it. So I'm not going to go through every single one, but I will say definitely check out SmallHD's website. The SmallHD Indie 7 is in their mid price point, but they also have this cheaper options like the Indie 5. And I think I saw a few options that were just recently released. So once again, I'll leave the link in the description where you can take a look at some options for yourself. There is honestly an infinite amount of ways to set up your monitors. So definitely play around with it and see which option works best for you. If you have any other questions, go ahead and leave them in the comments. See you guys in the next video.